The village of Miran sat quietly by the sea, a place where the sound of waves was as familiar as the heartbeat. In a small wooden house by the cliff lived a young boy named Eli and his grandmother. They had little, but every night, without fail, they lit a lantern and placed it on their porch. It wasn't for decoration. It was tradition. Eli's grandmother would always say, "No matter how dark the night, light must never disappear from our home. You never know who might need it." Eli never really understood those words. To him, it was just a habit, something his grandmother did out of old superstition. Until the storm came. It was on a night when the wind howled like a beast. The sea roared and waves slammed against the rocks. Rain lashed the windows. The lights in every home went out one by one, leaving the village drowned in darkness. Eli looked at the small lantern flickering on their porch, its flame struggling to stay alive against the wind. He turned to his grandmother. "It's dangerous. We should blow it out." But she smiled faintly. "Sometimes, Eli, hope is the only thing that must never be put out." As the storm grew worse, she began coughing. She was old and weak, and Eli rushed to get her medicine. The night dragged on endlessly, and fear crept into his chest. The world outside looked broken, hopeless. Hours later, she finally fell asleep. Eli sat near the window, staring at the trembling flame. "What difference does one small light make?" he whispered. Yet something inside him, a feeling he couldn't explain, made him protect it. He took off his jacket, opened the door, and stepped into the raging wind. Rain drenched him instantly. The lantern swayed wildly, its glow dim but alive. Eli cupped his hands around it, shielding it as if protecting the last bit of warmth left in the world. Time blurred. The storm screamed, but the lantern never died. When dawn finally broke, silence filled the air. The sea was calm again, the sky golden with light. Eli's grandmother still slept peacefully. He stepped outside, exhausted, and saw the destruction, trees fallen, boats overturned, roofs broken. But in that ruin, the little lantern still stood. Still glowing. Later that morning, a fisherman came walking up the hill, his face tired and clothes soaked. He looked at Eli and said softly, "Was that your light last night?" Eli nodded. The man's eyes glistened. "I saw it from the sea. It was the only thing shining through the storm. I followed it, and it saved my life." Eli's heart stopped for a moment. He turned to look at the lantern again, that same small, trembling flame that he once doubted. It was never just a light. It was a promise, that even in darkness, someone's small act of faith can save another. That night, Eli lit the lantern again. But this time, he did it not because of tradition, but because he finally understood. Moral. Even the smallest light can guide someone through their darkest night. Never underestimate your actions, no matter how small, kind, or unseen they feel. What you do in silence might become someone else's reason to keep going, to hope, to survive. A single act of faith can echo farther than you'll ever know.